Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare was written in 1595. Romeo and Juliet are the embodiment of love. As an audience, we're meant to be drawn to them like a moth to the flame, and we want what they have. We want someone who will die for us, someone who will give their all for us, someone who will sacrifice everything for us. Romeo and Juliet are timeless love. However, throughout the play, love and violence go hand in hand. The love Romeo and Juliet share is shrouded in death and violence. While the love Romeo and Juliet feel for one another is exciting and energizing, it brings death and chaos to them and those around them. This is felt even more intensely because Shakespeare switches from comedy to tragedy to increase the tension. We're also witness to the forcefulness of their love. We see it expressed in Shakespeare's words. These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die, like fire and powder, which, as they kiss, consume. This is a precursor for things to come. We are also drawn into the play by the forcefulness of Romeo and Juliet's love. In Act 1, Scene 9, we see Romeo expressing the forcefulness of the chaos of love. Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing first created, O heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms. Romeo's life was threatened by Tybalt because of his love for Juliet, but Romeo refused to fight. Mercutio was furious and stepped in to fight Tybalt himself. Romeo intervened, causing Mercutio's death. Before he died, Mercutio said, "A pox on both your houses. Romeo and Juliet's forbidden love caused this violent death." Forbidden love puts Romeo and Juliet in conflict with society. This love, hidden from the world, has made them secretive, as they hide their acts from family and friends. They prefer the darkness of night to the light of day. In the darkness, they can express their love for one another, but when the day arrives, they must speak words of love that are cloaked in other sentiments. Juliet tries to convince Romeo that it's still night. "Wilt thou be gone? It is not yet near day. It was the nightingale, and not the lark." In the dark of night, Romeo and Juliet are free to love, free to be themselves, regardless of their family names. Each tries desperately to be other than they are. Juliet tries to forego her public responsibilities, and Romeo tries desperately to avoid fighting Tybalt. Juliet tries to take a stand when her father wants her to marry Paris, even when her allies, her mother and the nurse, abandon her. We know from the first lines of the play what the outcome will be. On this point, there are no surprises. A pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured, piteous overthrows do with their death bury their parents' strife. Their fate is sealed from the moment they first lay eyes on each other. We see their determination as they struggle against the inevitable. But in this struggle, we see the fire of their passionate love for each other. Shakespeare does an excellent job of foreshadowing things to come. We have glimpses of their fate from the beginning of the play. When Juliet first sees Romeo, she laments that it will kill her if Romeo is already married. As it turns out, she dies on her wedding night, making her comments even more powerful. Both Romeo and Mercutio foresee their own deaths. "This day's black fate on mo days doth depend. This but begins the woe others must end." Juliet believes in her premonition of Romeo's death. "O God, I have an ill-divining soul. Methinks I see thee, now thou art below, as one dead in the bottom of a tomb. Either my eyesight fails, or thou look'st pale." We witness fate through the timeless love of Romeo and Juliet. The audience is privy to the double meaning of the words, and is therefore a partner in the play. We play a role from the first moment they see one another. We are witnesses to their ill-fated love. Let's take a couple of moments to review what we've learned. Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare is a story of fated love that's filled with a forcefulness that knows few boundaries. This love causes men to behave violently, and the lovers to meet their end by their own hands. As readers, we relate, which was Shakespeare's goal. In their most essential form, Romeo and Juliet are the embodiment of love, which is the central theme of the play. We also see Romeo and Juliet as fighting against the tide of society. They go against the rules of the day to find a way to be together, and in doing so, they choose to place themselves above the needs of their families and society as a whole. We know that their love is fated from the first moment, and as an audience, we watch as each scene unfolds and the premonitions are fulfilled. In many ways, we become accomplices in the destiny of these star-crossed lovers.